Ahar, my hearties. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. It's myself, Pirate Zam, and I've got the Tulsa Ginge next to me as well. And we're going to be
Hey,
talking about Season 2, Episode 6, The Navigator. How you doing, Ginge?
all good, baby. All good. Really looking forward to talk about the this episode.
Yeah, me too. After last week, you weren't with me, and I took over the show, and I decided that I'm going to do a review. Now, it ended all nicey with Stallone and that chick having a nice meal together. But for me, that was kind of like the calm before the upcoming storm, because this episode was like the beginning of trouble in paradise for all parties, as far as I was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and we will get to the end of this episode, which was obviously the most memorable scene. But let's just start, and I'm going to ask you some questions about that. But before we get to that, let's just start off with the beginning, because we have the inevitable sit down, which was mentioned last week. I'm glad we got this week. But prior to that, we got Stallone's sister trying to make herself useful in this fucking series by giving out free fucking food and nibbles. Now, for catcher is nice, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't be serving it as a fucking tapas. It's just fucking bread, mate. You know what I mean?
Bread.
Man, they're losing
Oily bread. It's okay.
it's just like, people are losing their shit over it. Now, that other thing that Papa Baro, what the fuck that thing was called, that looked great. I don't know what the fuck that is.
The dough balls. So that's like one of the
Savory.
earliest like desserts ever made, and it originates from my people. And in Greece, we call it loukoumia. Now, the name, it used to be called something else in Greek, but then we've kind of taken on the Turkish name for it. It's just fried dough balls, and we just drizzle it with honey and nuts, and it's amazing. And,
you Greeks and these Italians, you have a lot more in common than people realize. Similarities.
The Roman Empire, the Byzantines, we colonized Italy before they were even a country. Like south of Italy and Sicily is Greek originally. And then the Romans came and all that, and then they colonized us, and then it split, and then we were the Byzantines, so we colonized them. So our history is tied together like fucking two noodles in a nutsack.
Great. Well, in this episode, because the mafia is a bit, let's just be honest, the mafia is a little bit racist, aren't they? So Sly, old Dwight, making sure he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. Tyson, you stay at home. You know what I mean? That's how I fucking look at it. He ain't gonna bring him to a fucking sit down with the mob.
Yeah.
So he spent some time with his father today, and there were some nice moments because the van wasn't working too well, and so they decided to use the Navigator. Dwight gave him an ultimatum: if it stinks of shit, you're gonna fumigate it. You're gonna pay for it. Fair enough. And yeah, they go around doing their deeds. He's a bit of a helpful humanitarian, Tyson's dad, basically fixing people's plumbing for bowls of chili and shit like that. Isn't he a nice man?
Yeah.
And I think
so. We can talk about what happens afterwards, but let's talk about the other seed that was planted that could be fun later on. And that's obviously at the beginning of the episode, Dwight's daughter is talking about getting a gun for protection because, security is not going to be there all the time and all this. So obviously he talks to, I never remember the names, but
Mitch Keller.
Yeah, thank you. Talks to him to kind of arrange it. And so he helps the daughter train how to use a gun, and you can see the little seeds of a relationship being sown there. Obviously, Mitch mentions it a bit later about, your daughter's beautiful kind of thing, and then before Dwight could do anything, he has to go.
Saved by the bell. Yeah.
Saved by the bell kind of thing.
You got a phone call from Tyson. But I'll tell you my foreshadowing from that moment. Yes, there might be something going on between Mitch and Dwight's daughter, but there was a moment when he was teaching her about the guns and about the one in the chamber and stuff like that. I know for a fact, no, actually I don't know, but I feel that at one point that one in the chamber sort of scenario is going to come into play, like the gun's going to be unloaded, and there'll be one in the chamber, and she's going to be the one to realize that and fucking kill somebody You know what I mean? For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be like, unload the guns. Like, oh, puts a gun down, one in the chamber, picks it up, bam.
In my opinion, because of where the people lie in the pecking order, I think she'll kill Jackie, the leader of the Chinese.
Oh, really? Is that what you think?
I think she'll be the one in the chamber in his fucking head. You know, he's gonna go all fucking triad on her and shit like that, and probably threaten to fucking kill her with like 100, kill her with 1,000 slices or whatever, cuts or whatever. And then he would have emptied the gun. Ha ha ha! The gun is empty. You can't do shit. And then she'll fucking pick it up, and then there's one in the chamber and fucking put it around in his head. That's my prediction. You know what I mean? At some point during the series.
I was thinking more the fuck's sake, Frank Grillo's character, Kansas City boy.
You think he's gonna?
Yeah,
I think
Stallone. Hang on, okay, wait a second. All right, one second. Because Stallone killed his right hand man, he's probably gonna go after the family, and maybe not. Maybe it's a triad guy. We'll wait and see. Those are the seeds that those are the predictions. We'll come back to them by episode. There's 10 episodes in this, isn't it? It's not 8.
I have no idea, but we are over halfway now. No, you're gonna go for a shit, aren't you? I can just tell with your body language.
Yeah, we are over halfway. But that was a little seed being planted there, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
I liked the fact that smart gun sort of training was used here. But all right, fine, you're gonna get a gun, lockbox training, safety, trigger guard, these sort of things. Found it a bit weird that somebody like Dwight doesn't want his daughter fucking learning how to use a gun, because you would think culturally he'd be down with that, considering how he was last week when they did the liberal piss take of that fucking school. You know what I mean? You would have thought that he would be the sort of person to go, yeah, darling, fucking let me show you how to use an M60. I fucking used it in 2 or 3 Rambo movies. You know what I mean? So
on the other side, he doesn't want his daughter getting involved, kind of thing. But she's right. She is involved now, whether she likes it.
She's involved. Yeah,
which makes her being there even more stupid. But
exactly. Now, there was some scenes that. One scene in particular that kind of pissed me off a little bit, because regarding Fresher, he has a chat with Armand, and Armand realizes that that because he kind of leaked the information to Fresher, which then ended up with the triads going over to the wind farm last week and smashing the place up. He realized that that he was responsible for that, so he doesn't want to be part of that, and so he speaks to Fresher, and then Fresher basically threatens him and says, I own you, I'll fucking skin you alive, this, that, and the other. And then later on, Fresher then speaks to Jackie, the triad. And then Jackie basically says, look, you don't do half measures when dealing with a problem, which basically he's telling Fresher, you got to kill Dwight. And then he's like, kill Dwight? Like, what the fuck, mate? You were just threatening to kill Armand and deal with him. And now all of a sudden you're fucking, you're all acting, worried and shit about fucking killing Dwight. That did not feel, well written as far as I was concerned. I don't know how you thought of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole point of, like, again, he talks earlier about not wanting Dwight on his patch and by any means necessary to kind of get rid of the problem. He's an outsider, he's this, that, and the other. And then the next couple of scenes later, you're hesitating killing the guy. It's like, there's no inconsistency. And also, I know it's for the benefit of the viewer, but the way he kind of just talks to Armand and goes at him, it's just, you don't do that. Like, people in that kind of position are just very subtle about the, everything has a price, and I'm not giving you money out of the kindness of my heart. And so you just play your parts and there won't be any problems. Just simple, subtle delivery like that is better than going off on a fucking skin you alive monologue. But it's also like, I like it because it does paint Armand as like really fucking dumb, but that's a good thing, like in a good way that they've done it. Because it's like, what did he expect? Nobody's going to give you money. He should know better, being in the industry that he's in. He should know better that everything comes with a price. So although that's probably like overseen by the writers themselves, I think it kind of works to the advantage of just how dumb Armand is. But let's see That was also an interesting twist, though, as well, because not a twist, but that they kind of challenged that bit early on, because it puts Armand in the middle now to see what happens with him. Will he get exposed by the guy he helped, Thresher? Is it Thresher, isn't it?
Carl Thresher.
Thresher. Okay. Does he get exposed by Thresher to Dwight to kind of like, sow seeds of like mistrust among his clan, or does he just get offed? So there's a lot they can play with that, and I kind of like how it went. Just the line delivery from Thresher was a bit too pantomime for my liking, but it was still good to kind of see.
Armand seems to be the person who is very much isolated. By the way, morning, Daniel Vance. How you doing? Armand seems the most isolated of the lot because even his allies are fucking him over, in Dwight by taking money off him every week. He's in a really tough situation. I don't know how many lives this motherfucker's got, and I do worry for him if he's going to come out of this season alive. Part of me thinks he will somehow miraculously, but things have to fall into place for him.
That kind of gets away kind of thing. But that's why I like. That's why I like Armand is kind of the more intriguing character in this, because although he's not like omnipresent, he's not there all the time. Just the little scenes that he's in have enough of an impact where you're still like really interested to see what the hell happens to this guy and how he gets out of it, or which side he eventually chooses, and all this kind of stuff.
Things just getting worse and worse. He's lost everything, Chinch. He's lost his family. He owes Dwight. He's not making enough money, and now fucking Carl Thresher's on his case.
Skin him alive.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but it's going to be interesting to see. Let's go onto our New York duo of Chicky and Vincent.
Yes. Sorry, yes. Good, well done. Yeah, the New York duo. Sorry, go on.
Now, this is like we're Brits, so we don't get this, all right? But how fucking stupid do you have to be to bring a gun to a goddamn airport? I mean, seriously, And a part of me feels that he knew what he was doing, especially when he got patted down. Like he knew it was there, and he tried to wave it off, and hopefully it wouldn't happen, and he wouldn't find it. Because he underestimated the system. But my God, you gotta be the biggest fucking idiot. And ironically, after you silly bird.
Oh dear God, they got him. The mafia got him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But wait for the camera. That's all right.
Yeah.
I just said there's other two scenarios there. Either it's just showcasing just how dumb and incompetent the son is, and he's just a hot-headed idiot who acts irrationally, hence why he drowned his father in the first season, or he did it deliberately to kind of avoid going to the meeting, either because he feared he might get whacked, or that he can kind of blame his right-hand man, if anything kind of goes wrong, even though because he knew that maybe he knew deep down he's not going to postpone the meeting and he's going to try and kind of upend him. So I kind of even that little thing, it's not, you can't just take it at face value. It could splinter off into either just genuinely that stupid that he forgot he had a gun, or he did it deliberately to avoid going to the meeting,
or he thought he could get away with it as well.
Or he thought he could get away with it,
that was just my personal opinion, but I always felt he knew he had it. He didn't want to go to a sit down, but apparently you're not supposed to have a gun when you go to a sit down. I mean, there's some of the rules, I believe. That's why he's not. The one thing that needs to be trusted when you're working in the mafia, but you get whacked in various ways. But when you go to a sit down, if you get whacked at a sit down, then people will never fucking trust a sit down ever again. You know what I mean? So fair enough. So
there's no forgiveness from that.
So Vincent now has to take over proceedings. And let's just get to this sit down, which I have to be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. I thought it would have been a lot better than what it was. They're in Atlanta, and they go to this restaurant, this Afro-Caribbean restaurant in Atlanta, and there's like collard greens on the menu and stuff like that, having milkshake.
Just a normal black restaurant.
It's soul food, I guess.
Soul food,
yeah. Fair enough. And so that's a good place for them. Hopefully they won't to lay low and all of that sort of stuff. And Frank and Dwight are at each other's throats from the get-go. And I'm with Dwight on this one simply because Frank did try to get Dwight killed. Regardless of his man being the one who ended up being killed, it was Frank who instigated it. And so trying to take over Dwight's business without even negotiating in the first place, just coming in and all of that. So in my opinion, Frank was in the wrong. But what made me laugh about this whole scene, though, because Vincent's there representing New York, and he's just getting totally overshadowed, and they're just totally ignoring him, and he can't do shit because these are two old school gangsters who don't give a fuck about him. I mean, he's not even the boss,
and it's also just to remind them that New York doesn't mean shit to either one of them. Dwight's like, you sent me, I rotted in jail for 25 years, then you sent me out here to rot, and you then sent people to kind of kill me. It's just like, well, fuck you kind of thing. And then with the other guy, he's just like, what do I need New York for kind of thing? This is my patch, this is my territory. And you sent him out to Tulsa and without, even coming to speak to me about it, even though, and again, Dwight hit on the point, it's like, did you have anything in Tulsa? You don't have any businesses here. You let the weed fucking thing just die out, and you have no actual business. You don't,
garbage disposal, construction, nothing,
anything like that. It's just like you've just been a greedy prick, and he was right.
So they end up coming to a negotiation where he'll give him 15% off the top, and in return, he'll want, when he needs it, security and transportation of his goods. And on top of that, and this is where I have to do some calculation because I've been out of this game for a while now. On top of that, he'll also give him weed at $600 a pound. So that's 16 ounces of weed for $600. I did the calculations here in the UK. 1 ounce will cost you between £100 and £300. So $600 for 16. So depending on who you're getting and what you're getting. So 16 ounces for $600 an ounce. Sorry, a pound for 16 ounces. That's a bargain, mate. That's an absolute bargain. You should take his fucking hand up for that, Frank.
Yeah. And he got it to $5.75. That's a fucking bargain.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. No, fucking $25. They're fucking haggling over. If you think about it, it's not like we're talking in the thousands and shit. An ounce here is $50 to $100. Okay, so that's $1,600 for 16 ounces. So he's getting it, or $800 even, depending on it. Even then, still 16 ounces for $200 if you buy at $50 an ounce. That is, so
still double your money back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very good. So all right, and then this, like I said with Vincent, he just totally overlooked, and he ends up going back to fucking New York, and then Chickie's there and shit like that, and he tells him, okay, he's done. They're all gonna in return sell Frank some fake shit. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, Ozempic, the kind of diet stuff. It's like diet injections that everyone's on, the kind of weight loss.
They took the piss out of that in South Park, didn't they? In the Randy episode. Yeah, fair enough. And
but again, it tells you that New York has nothing to offer. It can't grow weed. It doesn't import heroin or anything. So they're just like a bygone. They're just dying out.
Exactly. There's no places to grow anything in New York unless you go outside the city, and even then, like this, it's like a cold location. It's always hot and sunny in fucking Oklahoma. It's ideal to grow stuff. And more fields and openness and stuff like that. But when Vinny goes back to New York, he speaks to Chickie and says, "Yeah, we'll sell him that Ozempic and stuff like that." But they're gonna get nothing out of Dwight. Chickie's pissed off because he thought they should have cancelled the sit down. And then he throws something at Vinny as Vinny's walking away. I was really worried this would hit Vinny in the back of the head and it would be something stupid like that. I'm glad that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? That sort of shit gets played out too much, in films. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, regarding Trouble in Paradise, them two are at odds for sure. Chickie's a shit leader, man. He's a terrible leader.
But that's what I like.
Maybe, yeah. And Vincent, he hasn't really proven himself, but he didn't do himself any favors with that sit down, where he didn't assert his authority in any manner whatsoever. He just stayed quiet, and let these two old school guys do their negotiations. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens regarding that. But let's get to the meter of the matter of the who done it, as far as I was concerned. Now, before we get to the who done it, have you seen The Godfather?
Yeah, I watched it again just last month.
I personally, the first thing I thought of when Tyson's dad died, was The Godfather. The scene where Michael Corleone's first wife gets blown up in a car. Yeah. I immediately got that vibe. Like he even got like when he saw his right hand man run away, and he went no, and Tyson sees that car drive off, and he goes no to his dad, and boom, what I mean, the Navigator. Yeah, exactly. So it was there. This whole setup prior to that the explosion was seeing the bond between his dad, the dad and son. Finally, there's no animosity between the two of them. They're getting along and all of that. And Tyson gives his car to his dad, because he wants to help his dad. That his dad finally accepts something from his son, even though he knows his son works for a gangster and shit. But he was sitting in that car and he fell in love with that car. He kind of finally felt the attraction to the bling. You really have to be around it to really appreciate it sometimes. And he was appreciating that bling in that car with the dashboards and everything. Never probably experienced anything like that in his life until he was there. And then that was the very thing that fucking killed him. But James, my question to you is, who done it? And we got 4 culprits as far as I'm concerned. Okay?
Triads.
The triads, Fresher, Chicky, or Frank. Or there could be a 5th, but look, yeah. I mean, for me, I don't think it's Carl Fresher, and I don't think it's Chicky. Them two are out of it. More likely to be Frank or the triads. And after the way the triads spoke about Dwight, and obviously they want some retribution for what happened to them, I think it's more than likely to be the triads. We never got to see who was in that car. Yeah,
exactly. But also, don't forget there was that little scene where their leader and the guy with the bruised face have a little tete-a-tete moment.
Yeah,
and that's the moment I think where they were just like, "Have you done what you're going to do?" And so, yeah, we're all there, kind of thing, to kind of plant the bomb. Now, I want to say this. I'm pretty sure we said it earlier on that the dad's going to die.
Yeah, we did. Okay? I think we did.
By episode, I think it was episode 1 or 2, we said dad's going to die. And it was an obvious thing. Obviously, with the white car and all that, it was a lot of foreshadowing. And, the car kind of playing into it and all this kind of shit. Initially, I thought they'll rig his plumbing van to kind of blow up, but instead it was this. You saw it coming, but it's still good that it happened. And again, there's constantly things being left open-ended, and that's what I like, because that's what draws you in to want to go and see next week's episode, because you're just like, oh my god, it's not just one little thing, there's so many little things. And I keep saying it every week, but it's just good storytelling to have lots of little seeds everywhere and see what grows out of it. So yeah,
I'm interested to see how Tyson takes this, because how seriously is Dwight going to take this? Because they went after one of his dudes. Does he care that much? Would he care that much? What's happened to them? I mean, obviously he would want something, but like you would want, that Tyson would want an immediate reaction to what's happening, and he's going to go to Dwight, in my opinion, and absolutely demand from Dwight that they fucking do something. And I don't know if Dwight is going to immediately want to be down with retaliating, because you look at Dwight's crew, and even though he's got a good bunch of guys with him, he's still not really super established yet as a crew. He hasn't got any underlings or anything like that, people beneath him and all of that, way like down the pecking order. He's just got a handful of blokes. People like Amman could turn in on a dime. Mitch is good. Obviously, Goody I think will be by his side now. He's got no choice, and he's got obviously Bigfoot, who's like his muscle. But after that, there's not much if you think about it. So
it's a bit of a thin crew that they should really start expanding on, because it just looks it's looking less believable when you have like fucking triads and then Frank Flor and all this kind of stuff. Then New York, and you're just like, what, 5 members?
Well,
so I think
that ruck last week with the triads was pretty much all the extent of his strength. All of those 5, including Tyson. That was it. Yeah.
So I think that Tyson and Dwight are probably going to clash over what happened, because Tyson, like I said, is going to want immediate retribution. Dwight's going to be like, hang on, we need to find out. And I think this sows the seed of Tyson, a bit like New York, kind of getting, filling up his boots and kind of thinking that he's going to go do this solo and take matters into his own hand and get like a small crew together or some shit like that. And we're kind of seeing like Tyson really kind of grow and either get overconfident or just more confident. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there as well. They've got it proved.
Another bit of foreshadowing. But you weren't here last week when they were having ice cream last week. Dwight told Tyson, "I don't want you to ever take a life." Well, that's my foreshadowing for Tyson as well. He will take a life. He'll be the one, and he's definitely going to kill someone. We mentioned Jackie earlier. I said maybe it could be Dwight's daughter who kills him, with the gun foreshadowing, one in the chamber and all of that. But at the same time, it could be Tyson who kills Jackie if it is the triad who killed his dad. So there's that too as well. So I mean, maybe regarding the foreshadowing with the daughter and the one in the chamber, maybe she just shoots a henchman, with it, and that's the foreshadowing with that.
Frank. My money's still on Frank. I think Frank,
fair enough.
Goes after the family. But also we could end up with like Armand sniffs an opportunity to kind of get one up on Thresher, and he teams up with Tyson as well, because they had their little moment last week where Armand was like, "Oh, this kid's getting a bit too fucking big for his boots, but I could probably use him given the situation." So there's always that as well. So there's lots of little possibilities.
I actually thought after the sit down, Frank and Dwight might be cool. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of like birds of a feather to a degree. But now with Frank not happy with how the sit down went and felt that Dwight ended up trump with that sit down, everything seemed to fall in line for him. He might go back on their arrangement, which is a possibility. It's really hard to say what alliances are going to come out of all of this. And on top of that, Dwight's got to keep an eye out for Mitch, because he's probably going to end up making moves on his daughter, and I think her daughter's very smitten with Mitch. I think she likes him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for sure, Mitch is a smooth, cool, handsome guy, man. You know what I mean? He's a charm. He's a charmer as well. And he's very intelligent as well. All of these things, he ticks a lot of boxes, and he's tough. Too. Yeah. So, and he's talented, musician and all of that. Yeah, I think she's gonna be down with that, man. That definitely.
Oh, she definitely. So if I could do the horizontal line dance with him, for sure.
So the only issues I have with this episode and last week is that these last 2 episodes have been less than 40 minutes. What the fuck is up with that? I'm not happy with that. Give us these 45-minute episodes, please. I want my penny, every penny's worth of action and drama from this show, because it's bloody brilliant. It's one of the best shows on television at this moment in time. Not the best, but one of the best, definitely. I thoroughly enjoy it. Love seeing Stallone in this role. He's played gangsters before, but in my opinion, this is his best gangster role. None of that bloody Oscar bollocks and shit like that, or Fist.
Oh, I liked him in Oscar. It wasn't the best film, but I like Stallone's comedic performances. They're good. He just was unfortunate.
This is my opinion. The comedic moments in this are Stallone's best comedic performances, because all the other stuff he's done, which when it comes to comedy like that, and obviously your personal favorite of stuff on My Mum Will Shoot and stuff like that, bollocks, absolute bollocks. You know what I mean?
This is Cash, actually, that was his best comedic moments.
Yeah, had some comedic moments in there too, but but it's a bit fucking 80s bollocks, you know, when you look at it now. Some of the clever scenes of him getting high and stoned and shit like that, you know, it's just beautiful, absolutely hilarious. You know, him winding up fucking Bodhi all the time, love it, absolutely love it. So,
good banter
anyways,
that they have when they're in the cars and things like that. Which again, they had this moment this week as well. You know,
exactly.
Piss out the friends and all of that. But yeah,
so
yeah,
I can't wait for next week. I think next week is gonna, if there is 8 episodes this season, I just for argument's sake to say there is, then this is gonna be the beginning of the finale. You know, with definitely some.
Let me just double check. I can't remember if this or Penguin.
Please, I want 10 episodes, but I am content with 8 if that's the case. I'm just finding out.
Oh no, shit! Oh, it is 8 episodes.
Episodes. So yeah, so
Penguin
this
is 8. So yeah. Oh no! So next week is a penultimate.
So yeah, they're going to be setting stuff up for the finale as well. We'll see how that ends. We are going to get a season 3, by the way, of Tulsa King, because Tulsa King season 2 is smashing it. Yeah, that's been confirmed because like they mentioned how well in the ratings this show is doing, is absolutely killing it. You know, for Paramount Plus at this moment in time.
In years, it's Stallone's best work in years.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
This needs to be like, you know, for however long we've got Stallone left, because he's in his mid-70s now. This needs to be just like with Danny DeVito and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This needs to be his send-off. You know what I mean? This obviously he'll do other things and all of that, but this is the beautiful kind of sunset to a kind of roller coaster career. Let's be honest, it's not been perfect. And it's the same with Danny DeVito and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's the beautiful sunset to, frankly, he's had a phenomenal career. Let's be honest. More 5 stars than duds for DeVito for me. But yeah.
Well, regarding Stallone though, this once he made First Blood, he became an action star all the way. Yeah, he tried to do films that were, you know, which were like Paradise Alley and Fist, you know, after Rocky, where he really wanted to show his acting chops and stuff like that. But First Blood made him into an action star, and that's what he did for most of his career. He's done some other films like Copland and stuff like that, where he tried to show his acting side. But this series is showing his acting side. But this is a fucking drama series. It's not an action series. Yeah. It's a drama series, and he's showing his acting chops. And people underestimate him of how much of an intelligent guy he is, and how much of a great actor he is as well. You know,
but that's the nail on the head there. That's the issue with Hollywood, is they always try to box you in. I think Stallone was unfortunate in getting boxed in because he has tried to kind of branch out. Like I said, like his comedic timing is great. Oh, Rhinestone was a fucking terrible film.
Probably that one, but probably that boy his best comedy since that. You know, we mentioned all these other comedies. That was probably the better one. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, but he was really good in that. It's not the best film, but again, his performance is great. He's a very versatile actor. Copland, one of his best ever performances, full stop. Like, I love that film so much. That was kind of his renaissance. And then what happens after that? Straight back into the shit action films. And then we go back to Rocky, and then we go back to, you know, treading on familiar water and stuff. For fuck's sake, he's better than that. And I think Tulsa King is, like I said, the perfect sunset for him. He's found the perfect thing, you know, old school gangster, trying to learn the kind of new ways of things like this. And the performance is varied, it's a wide range of emotions, and it's just perfect for Stallone because he gets to do everything. And you can tell he's kind of a bit more in control of this. Whereas with other films, like, we just want you as a generic action guy and blah, blah, blah. It's like Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes got boxed in as an action star. But if you see like One Night Stand, which was just about him having an affair.
Jungle Fever
and things like that. Phenomenal performances. Yeah. But again, they just boxed him in as an action star. New Jack
City. Was it New Jack City? Yeah. No, the one with Ice-T. Yeah. Which is a gangster drama. You know, phenomenal. Yeah, but then he became fucking Simon Phoenix and Passenger 57.
Yeah. One Night Stand is just a film about him having an affair. It's a family man, all this kind of stuff. But the performance in that, what a great film, honestly. But
Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything. Julie Newmar was one of his best performances. People forget that, you know. I love seeing him, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo, you know, go against type. You know, I admit, John Leguizamo looked really fucking hot. I can't believe I'm saying that. But anyway, regardless, let's mark this episode.
I'm going to give this one an 8. I'm dropping 2 marks because of the very things you pointed out, the kind of flaws in fresher stuff, and the sit down was a bit of a disappointment. But other than that, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, likewise. I haven't really marked this show below an 8. I think every episode's been an 8 or a 9. Yeah. Pretty much. 8's very consistent. You know, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
An 8-9 for me as well.
It gets that mark because the episodes are too short. You know, when I saw 37 minutes, I thought you are taking the piss. You know, the episode is, you know, yeah, we're gonna get. Don't worry, Daniel. We'll do a season review of Penguin and all of that. And there are some other shows coming out that we will start to work on. Obviously, Lower Decks as well. But yeah, I'm going to give this particular episode. I'm going to give it an 8. Once again, as I said earlier, the runtime, the sit down wasn't as memorable as it should have been, and obviously the situation with Carl Fresher. 1 minute he's threatening somebody's life, and then he's clutching his pearls when he gets told to kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know what game you're in, mate. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
I've tried Silence. It's not my cup of tea.
Fair enough.
It's not my cup of tea. Yeah. It's not my thing. But thanks for letting us know anyway. But anyone else out there, do watch Tulsa King. Do watch Penguin as well. Penguin, every episode so far has been a 10 for me. And that's all I'll say. So, And
when it comes to gangster shows, actually, I do recommend this is on Netflix as well. Gangs of London is really good. Really good. I'm only 2 episodes in, but my God, some of the like one takes as well with some of the fight scenes and all of that. Really good directing, really good. I don't want to say like action, but make it sound like an action film, but there's those moments are there and really good drama. I love this genre so much. It's one of my favorite genres, the gangster genre. I can't get enough of it, and I devour almost everything gangster when I get a chance. You know what I mean? All right. So yeah. Okay. So thank you, Ginge.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone out there. Join us next week for the penultimate episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel of all motherfucking time. Take care now. Bye-bye.